Should men be required to pay child support if they don't want the responsibility of being a father? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, thank y'all for joining me today. Now, this question is basically it's huge in this day and age. It's a huge question that have to be asked in this day and age in which out of wedlock pregnancies are not criticized like they used to be. It used to be a detriment to society. Families would send their daughters away if they got pregnant without being married. And it was highly criticized not so long ago. Now it's almost celebrated, and we see out of wedlock births is huge in America today, and really in the Western world, and especially in the black community. Now, Tommy Sotomayor, and I'm a huge fan of his, he posed this question of, should men be required to pay child support in this day and age of equality? And he didn't just like typical liberal leftists pose a question and just focus on what he gave you the question. He posed the question, then he gave a legitimate, logical reasoning for why he disagreed that men should be required to pay child support. And I have to say I disagree. I completely agree with him. Excuse me. I completely agree with him because he made a compelling argument. Now, it basically comes down to rights and responsibilities. The left oftentimes wants to divorce them, but in reality, rights and responsibility are two in the same. You can't separate them. You can't have responsibilities without rights, and you can't have rights without responsibilities. You can't ask someone to be responsible for something, but not give them rights over it. And the last thing that you want to do is give someone responsibilities or rights, but not also give them responsibilities in charge of that. You have chaos in society. So I completely agree with Tommy Sotomayor on this, is that you cannot expect men to have right or responsibilities over something and you don't get rights. And when it comes down to paternity, all the rights reside with women. I mean, a woman have all the rights with this my right, my body. If a woman doesn't want the responsibility of being a mother, a parent, they can just simply go out and have an abortion, legalize murder, and chalk it up as being responsible. So only the left can turn murder into quote unquote responsibility. Or she can have the child, give it up for abortion. You can drop that child off at any police station, any fire station with no questions whatsoever. She can have that child and be a ward of the state, could be a welfare queen all of her life. Meanwhile, a guy, if a man doesn't want to be a father and a woman wants the child, there's nothing a man can do. And he can be on the hook and be charged for child support for 18 years or more, depending on what state you are in the laws, for something that he really didn't want responsibility for. Unlike what the mother can do. A woman can decide, well, she don't want the child, go have an abortion. The guy may want the child, and he has no say-so in the matter. So, men basically, when it comes down to paternity, men have absolutely no rights, virtually no rights, but yet you want them to take responsibility. And, asking someone to assume responsibility without giving them rights is no different than taxation without representation. And we had a whole revolutionary war, a war for independence that was fought over that concept. And if we do some research in history, I guarantee you we'll find that there have been many other wars that have been fought over that same thing of requiring people to have responsibility and not giving them rights. And that's one of the dangers of that. So if men aren't given any or don't have any rights, then how can you expect any man to assume any responsibilities? And when it comes down to rights and responsibilities, the amount of rights that you get should be directly proportional to the amount of responsibility that you have. And that's something, again, the left, they just love to divorce rights and responsibilities. They are the same. You cannot divorce them. And this is one of the biggest problems that I have with MGTOW. I have a problem with MGTOW. I can understand the guys going their own way because they don't want to be hurt by the family court system. They don't want to be hurt by the paternity courts, family courts in America, which they have absolute no rights. So not wanting to be, not wanting to be hurt or harmed or unjustly treated by this family court system. I can understand they going their own way, but going your own way doesn't fix the problem. And I see that instead of going their own way, they should go to the court system and demand rights. And if men do this, they will have rights. Because I mean, how are you going to deny men rights if they decide, if they say, "Hey, we're going to burn this bitch to the ground until we get our rights"? Who's going to stop them? Nobody. So the legal system has to comply with them. But because, as that old saying, the wheel that squeaks the loudest gets the most oil, and since the men aren't squeaking and instead going their own way, that's why nothing changed. But anyway, I completely agree with Tommy on this because I don't see how anyone can expect any man to assume responsibility for something that they aren't given any rights over. Now, if men were to be given rights, then yes, I would say that that responsibility should be placed upon them. So you get no argument for me. Now, I know some people are saying, some women are saying, well, a man should take care of his responsibilities, right? We've heard this before. We heard that line in the movie, Lean on Me. Well, shouldn't a woman also be required to take care of her responsibilities? And being a ward of the state and getting money from the government is not being responsible. But it's funny how in this day and age of equality, a woman being responsible is her getting money from the state, and a man being responsible is the state taking money from him. I just think that's kind of funny. We're supposed to have all this equality, but yet this is the case, and this is the situation where we have. But like I said, I completely agree with Tommy on this, and I would love for anyone to make any type of argument to dispute that. And I've thought about every possible argument that can be made for the fact that men should be required to pay child support, and none of it makes any sense. But if anyone have an argument to dispute what I'm saying, that men should be required to pay child support, even though they aren't given any rights in the legal system, and the women have all the rights, then please bring their argument. But I haven't seen it. And like I said, the only reason why the court system does this is because they get money. The court system, I've never understood how a male judge, can sit back and treat a man this way. I can maybe a female, activist judge, female activist judge, but I can never understand how a man would do this to another man. But the reason why they do this is because, well, the court system gets money. So this is why they treat men this way. But as I've said, the day that men stand up for their rights is the day that men gets rights. You'll have about as much tyranny as you're willing to accept. That old saying, and you'll have as many rights as you're willing to fight for. But anyway, if anyone has any disagree with me on this, well, I would love to hear your explanation. And like I said, I've thought of every possibility, every possible argument that people could make it. I haven't thought of one that's plausible. But anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.